Welcome back, guys. It is Voodoo time indeed. Tara, such a great person. We've been excited to have her on for a long time. We're back again with the Outside the Enclosure. Kinda, I'm not gonna lie, we're kind of cheating this week on the Outside the Enclosure because she is a snake person. She's involved in the reptile side of things too, but our focus is kind of getting outside of our enclosures as reptile keepers and learning about something a little different. And a lot of us keep rats, kind of a necessity, right? A lot of us have to have that for feeders, and we learn as we go, but not very many of us start off as rat experts. Every little bit of info, input, good advice, bad advice we get is kind of through the community and talking to other people that, hey, I tried this and this worked, or hey, I tried that. Not very many of us are rat experts, and I think that we can safely say Tara is right up there with one of the most knowledgeable reptile keepers and rat keepers around, and just a long history with that and doing it both sides, right? So she does her own feeders. She raises rats to feed her animals as well, but she keeps a side project of rats that she has really nice quality on and she's worked at and kind of isolated things she wanted to make a specific pet market for that too for her. So it's going to be fun tonight. We're going to learn a ton about what we can do better as reptile keepers, breeding feeders, and things that if you're interested in that side of it, because they make great pets too, you can do to move that direction. Maybe isolate part of what you're doing when you see that odd rat and you want to make something different of that little space in your rack to maybe look at a pet option. Maybe that's something she can kind of steer us towards. And Jason's just going to not let Casper eat his shirt tonight. So
She
she's
was
doing
on
the
it immediately, so
right, and she has this goofy habit. She'll hop on your shoulders and then she just licks away at the shirt for like
everybody
15
sends me
minutes.
dirty shirts. This time it was Tommy.
Yep. Probably food on it, like half a
Filthy
burrito or
shirt.
something
Yeah.
stuffed in the collar. But no, she's a goofy cat, gorgeous cat. I mean, she's
Yeah, it's
super pretty,
beautiful.
but just a quirky little thing. So
Yeah.
I always get a kick out of seeing her on the show for sure. But
Psycho kitty.
we got right, Psycho Kitty. We got a little bit of news. We were reaching out. We saw a new expo pop up that's out of Northfield, Minnesota, started by one of the community people here, Adam Shira. I don't know if he says Shira or Shira. I think it's Shira. I could be wrong, but started up his own expo over in Northfield. It's going to be brand new for that area. We don't have a ton of that stuff up here in the north. We have a couple. We have a cold-blooded and we have a scaled-up kind of multi-show circuit that bounces around the different areas. And then we have, the people out of Snake Discovery doing their kind of exotic pet fair style shows. But there really isn't a ton of options for us. So it's good to see somebody from our side of it stepping out there and kind of taking a shot. We reached out to Adam. It's a very limited group of people that's going into this first show. I think there's going to be, and I could be wrong on this, so I'm going to take a stab at it, but I think there's 70 vendors. So not a huge show, but not a small one either. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes for him, how he likes it. So far, so good. All of the marketing and stuff out there looks fantastic. We're excited to go. It's fairly close for us. And the vendors and things we're seeing on that list are a pretty select group. He's really focusing on variety. He's going to have ball python people there, but he also wants to get multi-species. So he's really looking for the different geckos and the different plants and artists and things to mix in there. So it's not, 65 tables of ball pythons and 5 of something else. He really wants a nice mix. So excited for that. That's coming up in December. Still working out all the plans. We have secured a couple tables along with a couple other people we're real familiar with and have vended with in the past. So excited about that. I really hope that goes well for him and all the vendors too. We really need to get a solid
Yes.
new show that's successful. Get
If I
some more
could sell
eyes on this.
40 geckos, that would be fantastic.
Well, that's a lot of geckos. I think, yeah, I think the big thing is this is going to be maybe marketed a little better than some of what we're seeing out there for these other circuit shows. Those have kind of been around long enough where people have an idea. They're coming up sometime, but I really never see a big advertising or marketing push for those shows. So I'm kind of hoping this is going to be different. If I know Adam, he never goes into things half-assed. He's really going to, put the best foot
Yeah.
forward, and he's really going to push that side of it. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that brings new eyes, really am. But
Yep.
Jamie,
Uh,
anything new? I mean, we've got
No, the only thing new to me, probably not new to everybody else, but I didn't know about Chris Eaton's new show.
Oh,
Was it
rewired,
Rewired, Not Broken,
not
I believe.
broken. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw that today. So if you haven't checked that out, maybe go check that out too. Kind of a
Yeah.
twist, a little bit different for Chris. So always like
I
to
like
support.
it.
He's been good support for us and good support
Mm-hmm.
for the vets. So should return the favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a
Yeah.
good show. It seems to me he's focusing on a specific topic. I've watched several of what he's put out there, and they tend to run 9 to 16 minutes. A really long one might go 20.
Yeah.
But he does his Chris thing. He brings the humor in, and he looks at things
Yeah.
from a little bit of a different perspective, but a lot of focus on exactly what the topic is, right? Rewired, not broken, and the idea that going about his normal things or the things he did all his life, now being in that chair in that restricted situation, how he's working around that, and I think that's fantastic. I mean, give a little bit different
it's a
view
great-
of
Kind of a great different format too. Like you said, the 15, 20 minutes.
yes,
Pull in a lot of people like me that don't have the stamina or the attention span to watch an hour plus show. So it's
Yeah.
it's a
Right.
cool idea. I like it.
exactly. And they're produced really well. He always does a really good job of
Oh, yeah.
the editing and stuff, and cuts where they need to be and whatnot. So it's a good show, man, and hope that goes well for him. I know he's picking up different sponsors and different interest on that side too for a lot of the gadgets and things that he's highlighting. So hopefully that pans out well for him. Jamie, you've had babies hatch pretty much
I've
all
had
summer.
Babies hatch all summer. Yep. I think we were at 24 hatched, and I've got 22 in the incubator currently. So I got a really busy the last week in August and the first week in September. I believe 14 geckos should hatch.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
gonna be busy, and then there's a few stragglers in September, and the last one, I believe, unless we have surprise drops, will be first week in October, and then gecko season is officially over for this year.
And you're just gonna go.
I know it's a lot.
It's a lot
It's a-
of brand new little babies.
It's been more than what I anticipated breeding the pairs that I did, so they've all laid more clutches than I thought they would, and it's been a lot. It's been super fun, and they're awesome, but it's a lot of
Yeah.
babies, so.
Well, and something a lot of our people that watch are ball python people, and you go a week between with these babies, and you try again to feed them, but your geckos, you're in there
They
every
have
day.
to,
Eat
they need to
every
eat every day. Yep.
So when you start talking 40 to 60 of these things flipping
Yeah.
and flopping around in their little hatchling tubs, and none
Yeah.
want to really eat right out of the gate, that is a lot
Yeah,
of work. So,
you're cutting worms and rubbing their little lips with worm juice.
trying to get them to eat it, right?
And
It's
then they're
comical.
so stinking cute. They just open their mouth like a bird. It's so cute. But
Yeah, some of them, right? Other ones are just
yeah,
right
some
at
of
it
them
right away,
eat
but-
right
Yeah.
away. But yeah, the problem ones, they just open their mouth. It's cute.
Put something in there, Mom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Too bad the snakes don't do that.
Right.
I'm kind of glad, actually. That
Yeah, I saw.
would be pretty interesting. But well, let's say hi. We got a lot of different people out there tonight.
Yeah.
Let's say hey to who's out there. Let's get some commercials, and let's get to Tara. Dustin,
Yes, let's.
DDM crew. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you swinging in.
And the
Always good
counterpart.
Oh, nice. We got them both. They're like,
Yeah.
what can we learn about rats tonight? Good to see you,
Uh-huh.
Melissa.
Yeah.
Thanks for swinging in. Brave. He's getting excited to come on too. He committed to that long ago, and I think he's slowly working up to the point where he's like, I think I will go on. He's already
Yep.
talked about what he wants to bring and stuff like that. So it'd be awesome to see Brave. Tim Dad. Always good to see him out there. And Connie Mom's right behind, right? Well, probably right behind Jason.
Jason.
These three here, they're probably sitting on the same couch right now,
Yeah,
laughing
could
at
be.
us on
Could
the
be.
stream. No,
No.
longtime family friend, but always good to see Jason out there. Ella from down south. Not down south for long, though. Sounds like she's
Nope.
making a little shift, so that's good. Good to see you here. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, and we got Jen over at TJ Hutch.
Strutter.
Strutter in the house. Look out, everybody. She starts going down that carpet. You just get out the way.
Roll
Yeah,
out the
roll
red
it.
carpet for her.
Right.
Right.
Always good to see you back. Appreciate you swinging in
Aurora
every week.
Has been in every week. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's been really good. She came in, popped in, said hey, and then stuck
Yeah.
around, which we love
Yeah.
that. Absolutely love that.
Message us. Say hi.
Yeah, send a shout out. And I think did she win coin one week? She might have.
I think she did. Yeah. I
E?
thought maybe.
I just looked earlier.
Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you swinging in. Big Dan, one of the affiliates popping in the house. Well, actually, Jen's an affiliate too, but we got Jared over at Gem Exotics. Jared the jeweler. Good to see you, sir. Fantastic show Sunday nights. If you can catch that, Genetic Canvas, all kinds of informational stuff. We got Ashley, Catalina Morph Mixer. I think she mentioned she's coming up to Adams too, which her and Becky are
Yeah.
going to vend together. Means a ton of different plants and things too. They've got a really good variety. So
I'm
good to see
hoping that
that.
our tables are near each other because that would be fun for me.
right. They're just they're a great duo. It's fun.
yeah.
Fun to see them around. Mitzi, always good to see Mitzi. Get the heart out for sure. Emoji Queen, one of the best supports in the business right there.
There
Tommy.
we go. Dirty
There,
shirt.
Jason's
Tommy.
got the
Cat got
Jason's
all
got the shirt on. That's what got us into all the trouble over here with 50-some baby geckos right now, Tommy.
Yeah.
Connie Mom. That's the counterpart to Tim Dad. Tim Dad and Connie Mom out there. Appreciate those guys for sure. And they're starting to know all these names too. Look at that. Just saying hey
Right.
to everybody. Which is,
I love
which is
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Greg. Who the F is Greg? He was just pulling Jason and I out of the death pit about a night or two ago. Just playing rounds of Call of Duty and Battlefield and whatnot. Always fun to sit down with Greg. Great people over at Rippin' Reptiles besides. Adrian, good to see you, sir. Appreciate you swinging in tonight. Oh, look at this. I think we've got a K Diesel in the house. Pure ownage. That's K Diesel in the
K
house.
Diesel.
He wants to learn about rats. Is the
I
only
haven't
one that
seen
would
him
have
all.
that crazy graphic. But
Yeah.
Kiko, always good to see you, sir. Beers, brew. What is it?
Beers,
it's 3 B's.
B.
Brew,
Is it
botany,
botany?
and you're gonna have to type it in there for us, Kiko. We should be
Yeah, I
better
don't know.
about that, but apologies on that. Beasts, brews. There,
Oh.
yes.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dennis West, the Enchi King, right there. Good to see you, Dennis. Appreciate you swinging in. Even if you are a Raiders fan, we're going to keep you around. We're going to keep you around because you're a good guy. And he's got some of the best Enchi examples I have ever seen. He spammed our Instagram with some of his Enchi combos, and oh my God, I've never seen Enchis look that nice. So appreciate
You know what
him
I
being
like
in the house.
best about Enchi?
What?
Their green eyes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, that is kind of a nice plus. You know,
That's
you'll
my
get that
favorite
with a couple
part.
others, but
Yeah.
for sure.
I love it.
That's it. Do we
That's
get
it.
everybody?
Yeah, we're caught
Fantastic.
up.
All right,
Let's
that
get
means we
Tara
can move
out
on.
here.
Yeah, we can throw
Bye,
the commercials
Jamie.
up,
Hello,
guys.
Tara.
No, not bye, Jamie.
Bye,
Oh, yes,
Jamie.
bye, Jamie. All right, guys, we're going to head into the commercials. We'll be right back. Tara's going to enlighten us all on the crazy, wild side of rats. Not just for feeders, but for pretty stuff, for pet stuff, and for buddies. So
Very nice.
we'll be right back, guys. See you in a couple.
Hey folks, here at The Forge we prioritize promoting people from the community, especially where we see opportunity to share some valuable insights or products with our followers. That is why we are thrilled to have B&S Reptilia as a sponsor. Chris is a fantastic example of bringing value to the community, with years of experience keeping a variety of animals from ball pythons and blood pythons to boas or colubrids and more. Chris brings a wide breadth of knowledge and a collection of beautiful animals. Chris also carries Coco2go and The Chipper, two of the highest quality reptile bedding products on the market. If you want to learn more about any of these species, are looking to add to your collection, or in need of some top-notch substrate, please don't hesitate to reach out to Chris at B&S Reptilia. Chris is also a member of a growing community of breeders who accept Forge Coin, so don't forget to show them your Forge Coin.
All right, we are back, guys. Go support all those different channels thrown in that last one. I appreciate G-Paul. You put that together for the different shows that are on throughout the week. There's a ton of good stuff out there right now, guys. No shortage of info, and you can go pick who the heck you want to hear it from. So, right? Anyway, Jamie, you said it before we went into this break. We are going to put you back there now.
Bye, Jamie.
And, oh, nice. Congrats, see? She's going to filter questions, comments, guys. If you have stuff specifically for Tara, feel free to throw them in there. We will try to get those as much as we can throughout this. You know, it's a little tough. We obviously don't want to change lanes completely, but if we can hit those and get her input for your specific stuff, fantastic. That's the way we'd like to see this go. So, Jamie, good luck back there. We'll see you in a
Thank
few,
you.
I guess. A few is what we're going to call it, but...
Yeah.
I think Tara's all set and ready to go back there. Let's bring her out. Jamie, good luck. Tara,
Hi.
welcome to Outside the Enclosure. I know you've seen the different things we've done with No Remorph. You've seen the Crucible. You've seen this show too. And we tried to be a little sneaky because we know you do the reptiles too, but we really wanted to hear like your expertise on the rat side of it, and we felt like that kind of fit Outside the Enclosure a little better. So thank you for agreeing to come on with us, first of all.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. I love talking rats just as much as I love talking snakes, so.
Yeah. I'm excited to learn something. I don't know how many people are aware, but the whole rat business is about to shift places. We're moving from John and Jamie's under their roof to over to the facility, probably a month or two, John? So I've got some learning to do. All I've ever really done is gone over and helped clean stuff out and refeed and stuff like that. So I'll be listening intently.
Right, right.
I do it all. The rat thing is my thing. No help from the hubby on that. That is all me. Everything that has to do with the rats, aside from driving to pick up food and things like that, that's all me.
For sure, for sure. So I think and maybe this is just kind of beating a dead horse here, but I think throughout the community you've kind of gotten the reputation to have a really strong knowledge base and history with rats in particular, for good reason, right? I mean, you've been around them forever, but can you kind of walk us through what that timeline looked like for you, like from your first interest in it to like where you sit now, and just brief? I mean, you don't have to get crazy with it, but
just trying to think back.
Right.
When you do something for so long, I don't want to say you forget where you came from, but you tend to skip talking about certain things because you're so used to doing it that you'll kind of jump as you go through things. So it actually started, my passion for rodents, we will call them, in general, has always been a thing. I actually had ferrets long before I had rats. My dad bred ferrets for hunting, and that was a big thing. And then rats just kind of came later. My mom was deathly afraid of everything that wasn't a cat or a dog. So it was, bringing anything, whether it be a reptile, a rodent, a fish, it was like pulling teeth. So I was
Right.
never allowed to have any of that stuff. But we live, well, they still live. I did live at the time on 6.5 acres of wooded land on the top of a mountain. So, I was always seeing squirrels and mice and chipmunks, things like that. And animals just fascinate me in general. Uh, where I live, you can't legally own squirrels, chipmunks, things like that. So, obviously, ferrets, rats.
Legally.
It,
Right. I'm sure more than a few people have them, as their little buddies, but
micro squirrels, that's apparently a new thing around here because they're not from here, so technically you can have them kind of like a sugar glider.
Yeah.
But
okay.
yeah, that's a whole nother story. Um, but yeah, so I've always been interested in every animal out there, and rodents were no different. I liked watching them and how they interacted with nature and things. So the rats, they just kind of naturally came along. Uh, when the ferrets moved out of my life, the rats kind of moved in. They're super intelligent. They're very affectionate. Despite what most people think, they're actually clean. I know you guys on the feeder and it's messy and it's smelly because you own so many. Because there's a purpose behind them. But when you have just 2 pet rats and you're keeping them clean the way you should, and they can be litter trained. You can actually train them to go in a specific spot. So they're actually a very clean animal on top of being smart, and they're small. So it's not a cat that could tear things up, a dog that has to be walked all the time. They're a smaller caged animal. They tend to be a little more accepted in apartments and small places that don't generally allow cats and dogs, kind of like snakes and other reptiles. So they became a really good ideal pet for somebody who was living in an apartment. And at the
Okay.
time,
This is-
we couldn't have a dog, couldn't have, any of that stuff. And the ferrets were, again, a questionable thing with the landlord. So it picked up really nicely. So I started with 2 cute little dwarf fluffy things. And then my husband, who I've actually known my husband for over 20 years. We've actually been best friends, known each other since we were teenagers. We did not get married until 2022. So but my husband has a I think he's 23 now, might be 24, 23, 24-year-old boa constrictor.
Okay.
So the snakes kind of came after, and the rats became a slightly larger part of life because we were driving 2.5 hours to a store to try and get rats for his boa, and the store may or may not have them.
Yeah.
So we picked up a male, a female, and then another female, and we started doing a bit of breeding on our own just to save us that 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive, depending upon where we had to go. It's a boa. It eats rather large meals. So when you go over to Petco up here, one large frozen rat is like $23.
Yeah, I've heard that can be
So
pretty outrageous.
So a jumbo for, a 9-foot boa that's as big around as my husband's calf, that was even more expensive. So it was either drive and try and find something cheaper or do it ourselves because we were not paying those prices. And then potentially the boa decided, because he is an older guy, he decided he didn't want to eat, then we're just throwing money down the drain.
Yep. So you kind of went, if I'm picking up what you're saying, you kind of went from pets to start with, kind of breeding them as pets, to okay, now we need to feed snake.
So I started out with them just as pets. I
Okay.
actually didn't start breeding
Oh, okay.
until, like I said, we've known each other a long time, and he's had this snake for a long time. We started living together before we actually got married, about 7 years before we actually got married. So the breeding aspect for me has been about 10 years.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
all in all, it's been about 10 years that we've been breeding the rats. But I kept rats as pets before that. And me, I'm a research junkie. I want to know anything and everything before I get into something. I researched the dog we have. I have a Shiba Inu. I researched her for 15 years before I got her.
Wow.
Wow.
That-
Okay.
You
I-
were not understating.
No, they're a stubborn breed. They have a lot
Yeah.
of quirks. They're
Yeah.
a lot of issues. So I wanted to know exactly what I was getting into, exactly how to, move forward from puppyhood up to keeping it. Same way with rats, same way with snakes. I have done so much research on, I'm digging places that normal people don't even dig to
Right.
find accurate information, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about
Oh.
rats. We'll throw one out there: dark chocolate. Everybody says dark chocolate, chocolate in general is bad for rats. That's actually not true. Chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, that's not so good for rats just because it's high in sugar.
Sugar.
Dark
yeah.
chocolate dark chocolate in small doses can actually cure respiratory infections in rats.
Wow.
That
Okay.
is actually a myth that comes from the whole dog thing. Dogs can't have grapes. Dogs can't have chocolate. Dogs can't
Yeah.
have this. So people just assume rats and other animals can't have it either. But it's actually a falsehood. It is a scientifically proven fact that they can have dark chocolate in small amounts, and that it is actually beneficial to their health.
So the whole grape
Yeah.
thing, we can throw that out the window. So we had a dog,
Yeah.
a Canary Island pit, which is the brindle pit. They're kind of a smaller pit bull. And that dog would eat grapes till the sun went down. And he ended up being 20 years old or something crazy, like way longer than he's supposed to be.
It's actually not. It's actually not the grapes themselves. It's actually the small seeds in the grapes.
Sure, and that's
Oh,
probably
okay.
why. They were always seedless, right? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Hi,
That makes
Holly.
sense.
Miss you.
Holly, good to see you. Appreciate
Congrats
you
on the
swinging in.
grandbaby.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, that's my girl. I love Holly.
Yeah. No
Oh,
problem.
yeah, no worries. Definitely shout out people when you see them. The thing that kind of got me perked up right away out of this is that you started with the pet side. So, was that where you also decided you kind of wanted to start breeding, or was it purely out of the feed necessity that you considered breeding at all?
Initially, it was the feed necessity.
Okay.
Like I said, my dad used to breed ferrets for hunting, so I had an
cool.
idea of, breeding and the aspects of it from growing up with him breeding ferrets. So it was kind of already there. I also always I actually wanted to breed and show dogs when I was younger. That was kind of like my dream. But here I am with rats and snakes instead, because they're in essence cheaper than breeding and easier than breeding and showing dogs. But we won't get into that end.
Right. Plus all the politics around the dog arena.
Well,
can
there's a
be-
lot of politics with rat breeding too.
Oh, sure, on your side, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Not so
on-
much the way we look at it, but yes, exactly.
No, yeah, on my side, there's a lot of politics with it too. Especially if you want to be able to breed for show. If you actually want to be able to breed to show rats, there's a lot of politics. But back to what you had initially asked me. So we started breeding the rats out of necessity. Now, we did not breed my dwarf rats. Dwarf rats they don't produce a large enough litter or breed often enough successfully to feed a collection of snakes, even a small one. So dwarf rats, even though they get the ideal size for a adult ball python, because they get about the size of a small rat when they're fully grown.
Sure.
So,
So, okay,
they're
not
just
to,
not
to
ideal.
stop you there, but you hit on something that I think might be a little point of confusion for people. When you say dwarf, is it a different
That's what I was going to
chunk
ask you.
of a Norwegian? Like, does it spawn from Norwegian and it's just been bred that way? Or
Yeah,
how did the dwarfs come in?
So, just like in humans and other animals, dwarfism is a trait that is carried. It is no different than in rats. It is a recessive trait that is carried, and you can specifically breed for it.
Okay.
So they are still fancy Norwegian rats, is what the feeder community would consider them. Fancy
Okay.
Norwegian rats is what they are.
Okay, so we're not talking about like a different species.
No.
We're talking about, okay, that I
No,
think a
they-
lot of people won't know that difference, out of the gate. So,
Yeah,
okay.
no, that is 100%. They are a Norwegian rat. They just carry the dwarfism gene, or the gene that causes dwarfism.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
So I took you away from what you were saying. I apologize, but
you're fine. So it started out as a feed necessity, and when we started seeing these interesting colors coming out in the feeders, I was like, well, that's neat. I like that. That thing's orange. I found out later that it is actually called apricot, is what the actual American Fancy Rat and Mouse Association calls that coat color.
sure. Yeah.
But but I thought that was really neat, and that kind of, and with wanting to breed dogs, and with being around my dad breeding ferrets, genetics was always in play, because obviously you have good genetics, you have bad genetics. So that started me on the aspect of, well, if these rats produced this, I wonder what my rats could potentially produce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she switched over. Holly has jumped on to YouTube now.
So, that's what kind of got the wheels turning. That's actually what got us into breeding ball pythons, was the genetic aspect. So it went from me breeding these rats for feed, just to feed, a boa, and then my husband eventually also got a corn snake. The boa was a rescue. The corn snake was also a rescue. It was kind of my husband took things in that most people didn't want. But yeah, so it started out as a necessity and became kind of an intriguing passion. And then I did more and more research. I tried different methods. So and so says this, but the laboratory says this. Well, I've got excess. Let's try this and see what happens with these. Let's try this and see what happens with those.
Okay.
And then I would see the results and, adjust accordingly. Hey, okay, this does work. Whereas this person said it didn't. It's clearly working, and this person said it did. Like I said, there's a lot of misinformation out there about rats.
Are you still working close with Tom? I'm not sure who Tom is, but you guys know.
Barnhart.
Okay.
We still live close, and we do still talk, but he has definitely gotten busy. His kids are teenagers now, so there's been a lot going on. But I do still talk to him often. I actually just messaged him the other day to show him these arcane hypos.
Oh, yes, which we'll take a brief sidebar because you got it on the plate now and people are going to want to know.
Thanks, Holly.
You stepped right in it, and we talked about it a little bit before the show. And tell us about your arcane hypo. These are world's first, as far as you know. I mean, there obviously could be some weird straggler off that has hit that or something, but not obviously publicized or talked about. So arcane is kind of a unique gene. It's not out there a ton in the ball pythons. And you go ahead and tell us what you got.
It is worked by a very small community of people currently. It's one of those genes that's just not that popular because it's a granite style gene. It didn't do as fancy a things as some of the other genes did, so it kind of got sidebarred like a lot of them. But I'm fascinated by it because I have seen a super version, and they look really, really cool.
Nice. Okay.
And I love how it puts the looping down the back, the little Cheerios down the back. And I absolutely love the blocking that it causes in the alien heads. So I picked up a male from Dan over at Stony Serpents, who was a het hypo, and then he is an arcane HRA mahogany. So this year I bred him to a hypo female, and we ended up with 3, as far as we know. Like I said, before we started, Canova could have something stashed away that I don't know about.
Sure.
But we have reached out. I reached out to Dan, who reached out to some people. I've reached out to some other people, and nobody has heard of anybody who has hit visual hypos in the arcane HRA mahogany yet. So,
Nice. Well, congrats. That's a
Very cool.
thank
huge
you.
thing.
Very
you
cool.
know?
It is exciting, and they are really neat looking. I'm really excited about working the project, and I hope it actually goes somewhere and people see the value in it that I see with how neat. I'm hoping in 2 years to, well, we'll see how the female goes, but I'm hoping to hit a super. But it's
Nah.
still going to be a couple years because she's still got to get bigger. But
Sure.
I can't wait to show that off as well, and to show off a lot of the other neat, things that are going to come with this gene. I like to work the oddities. Obviously, how many people out there are breeding rats to sell people as pets, and show and things like that. So, but I like to work the odd things. The mainstream just seems to be a little stagnant's not the word, but it
Overworked.
definitely it is overworked, which is causing a lot of people to become stagnant as far as moving animals. There's been a lot of hard, and drop in prices and things because there's so many of those animals, because so many people followed the exact same path, whether
Yep,
it was
yep.
intentional or unintentional. It happened. So I'm just trying to work some stuff that's not high up on the radar and see where I can go with it. I'm in this hobby to have fun. I enjoy what I do, whether it be the rats or the snakes. I enjoy it. I love seeing it. I love the genetics behind it. I could make no money. I mean, my husband would be happy if I made lots of money. But,
Right.
for me, I could make no money. I could make lots of money. It really doesn't matter. It's the animals themselves and what comes of pairing this to that and seeing what actually comes out. And sometimes it's nothing like you would even expect it to look like. So
Exactly.
that-
Well, and that's the
that's
thing.
where
Unless,
I'm at with that.
unless
Yeah.
people are doing what you're doing, who would ever know, right? So it's awesome. Congrats on that. It's a huge accomplishment in anyone's book to go a direction so completely that you're hitting things no one has seen, right? And I've seen the animals. They're beautiful. So the super, I'm really excited to see. Now, you talked about it's going to be down the road. That's fine. We're still going to stay in touch.
Right.
We'll see those. They're coming. I'm more than confident you can make that happen. But thank you for sharing that with us,
Yep.
by the way. Not to take you away from the whole rat topic, but
Oh,
we had to
no.
get it out there.
I was gonna say,
Well, I'm definitely taking her away from it again since we're already off topic, because you said this and I immediately was like, okay, I got to know, what do you hunt with ferrets? I got to know how that works.
you hunt rabbits.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Ferrets can chase them right into the den, right?
Yeah, so they actually have videos on YouTube you can watch if you're really interested in seeing exactly how it works. Basically, what they do is they put a net over one hole, and then you put the ferret in the other hole, because rabbits always make more than one hole. One
To
one
hoop
to
through,
go in
yeah.
and out, and one to escape if need be as a backup. And what they'll do is they'll put the ferret down in the hole. The ferret goes in the hole, it flushes the rabbit out. The rabbit goes out the other hole and runs right into the net.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
it's my dad is a survivalist kind of guy. I used to get earthquake tested, where he'd come in the bedroom with me and my siblings and shake the bed.
Shaking the bed, yeah.
earthquake test. Get up, go get your shit. Let's move. So I mean, you can tell I'm a little. But
No, that's
yeah,
great.
so
That's awesome.
learned a lot of interesting things. I mean, I can hunt, I can skin, I can gut an animal and cook up the meat, separate the meat, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not really big on firearms. I actually prefer a bow and arrow, so archery is more my thing. But I know how to use all those things. I know hand-to-hand combat, and all kinds of weird things, making pitfalls and
I just
That
saw
is
I just
that
saw
is
like
awesome.
a little mini documentary talking about rabbits and what that they're actually the perfect meat, and we went away from them back in whatever time and the reason, and they just talked about like production, cattle and pigs and all that versus rabbit, and it makes no economic sense whatsoever to ever have gone away from rabbit, which, like I say, used to be a really big thing in the U.S. and UK as well. So
Yeah, you think about
interesting.
it. I mean, a huge portion of early hunter-gatherer style communities, it would be rare to get a deer or something
Yeah.
like they survived basically off fish
hmm
and rabbit. Like
Rabbits
that was
just
about it,
reproduce, man.
you know.
Yeah.
well,
Um,
and it's also leaner meat.
it's
Very
fantastic.
You're
much.
Yeah.
not, yeah, you're not getting all that fat and the marbling that comes with that.
Yeah.
So it is a different taste, from cow or even venison. Venison
Yeah.
and rabbit do not taste the same. I love both. Both are great.
Right, right.
Um, but it is a leaner meat, just like venison is a leaner meat compared to cattle, things like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It just depends on how you want to go with it. They're making python jerky. Apparently, it's
Uh,
illegal to sell it, but I have actually seen it for sale on the interwebs here and there. But again, still a leaner meat,
yeah.
still an
Right.
abundance of an animal that they're catching, and at least they're not, it's not going to waste
Wasting it.
once they catch it.
Yep.
Right. Now, is that like spawning from the
Frog
big
legs are good
Burmese
too.
thing?
Yes, it is
Okay.
big with the Burmese. They do a lot of the
hmm
Burmese meat in Florida once
I
they
was gonna
catch them.
say, yeah, it's because of the preponderance of them, and it's become such an issue there. That kind of makes sense, but
Yeah.
something I've never been interested to try. I won't say that I wouldn't try it, like on a platter. I don't know that I would like search it out. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if somebody came by and go, oh, okay, here's some alligator tail, here's a bit of Burmese, I
Ooh,
would try
alligator
it.
tail.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is.
It's really good, but
So I have had Burmese jerky.
okay.
My sister brought some back from Florida when they went down for one of their vacations. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It was
Uh-huh.
a cracked pepper and honey, and it was
Huh.
it was actually, yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay.
She says try this, and then I'm going to tell you what it is. I kind of looked at her like,
Nuh-uh.
Uh,
Right.
she's like, I promise it's jerky, and I'm like, you giving me dog food, like dog treats? And she's like, that would be, that's how me and my sister are.
yeah.
Uh, and she's like, no, it's actual, human grade food, jerky, try it. So I popped it in my mouth, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. She says, it's python jerky. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, she's like, it's Burmese python jerky. We bought it while we were down in Florida. I was like, huh.
That's
Wow.
crazy. Okay. Well, Adrian, the ever slave driver, he's like, "Can we get back to the rats, please?"
Sorry.
No, I'm
Yeah.
teasing. I'm
So
teasing.
they sidebar.
Yeah. No, and that's our fault, not yours, 100%. But he's asking a pretty direct question, which I think you can kind of speak to, in the health expectancy and lifespan of the dwarf versus a standard Norwegian. Is there some difference there? Is there something?
There's actually quite a bit of difference. So the life expectancy of a dwarf rat is actually better than your standard rat. They are 90% less likely to get tumors. There's something about the dwarfism gene. They don't get tumors as often or as consistent as their standard counterparts.
Okay.
They do actually exercise and move a lot more than their counterparts, which also could equate for the fact that they are healthier because they do move around a lot. They do tend to need more space to climb and jump, and especially the females. Female dwarf rats are consistently on the move unless they're whelping.
Huh.
Okay.
They
Would have never thought that. That's
No.
strange.
Just metabolism is that much higher? Is it just running a quicker clock? Does that also bring the lifespan down a fair amount? Or
So, as far as the lifespan itself compared to standards, I know people who have standards that are 7, 8 years old. It's how you take care of them, how you feed them, and obviously the quality of the animal you're buying.
Yeah, genetics. Yeah.
Genetics play a big role just like they do with anything.
Sure.
Same with dwarf rats. You can buy really bad genetic dwarf rats, or you can buy really quality genetic dwarf rats.
sure, yeah, there's going to be a
Honestly,
wide range in
yes.
anything, I suppose. Yeah.
And anything that is genetically better in quality is going to have a longer lifespan because they're going to be genetically healthier. So as far as that goes, it's not so much that they live longer than standards. They just don't get as many health issues as standards.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So as a mean population, they probably outlive, but individuals could vary greatly.
Yes,
is what you're kinda
individuals
saying.
vary,
Okay.
depending upon what you're feeding them and their genetics. Feed is another thing. They do require a bit more protein because they are consistently so active than what their standard counterparts would, especially if you're breeding female dwarf rats. They definitely require a higher protein content than your
That
standards do.
that's kind of true across the rodent the rodent genus, I guess, if we're going to call it that. But if we go across that, it kind of seems to hold true because we do ASF strictly. We don't do Norwegians at all. And we really notice that protein deficiency as soon as breeding starts. Now, all the way up through all of our different, splits and sectioning things off, we don't see it as much in the general population until we get them in a colony that's actually getting really productive. And boy, if you really don't attend to that protein need, you have some massive issues, like almost immediately.
I keep ASFs. I actually do keep ASFs.
Okay.
I do not do standard size rats unless there's a specific coat color or coat type that I want that I cannot get a hold of in a dwarf. So we're talking once, maybe every 5 to 7 years, a standard comes into this house that's not coming in for food for, the snakes. And it always comes from another rat breeder. I don't just pick through, random feeder rodents and go, oh, I like this, because I don't know what the genetics are. I don't know what, it. Not saying that feeder people, are not taking care of their rodents, but
Well, it's
I
a
don't.
different kind of breeding, right? They're
It
not
is.
breeding for the genetics so much. They're breeding for how many can we produce, and are they big?
Well,
And
and a lot of feeder breeder people don't worm their rats.
oh yeah,
And that's actually a big thing with pet people. There's actually certain things as a reputable, and if you want to be on breeder lists for breeding rats, you actually have to have them tested for rat bite fever to make sure that your colony is not compromised. You have to have them wormed. We're putting these things in children's hands.
yeah.
You
Right.
don't want any diseases or anything that you are possibly going to give to a child, or that could be given to a child. So there's a lot higher standards as far as, the way we have to keep in order to stay on the lists, because people will remove you. Just like the
Yeah.
snake community, if you're not keeping up to par and you're selling dirty animals, sickly animals, animals with disease, you'll get knocked off a list. You'll be put on blast,
Sure.
and you won't be able to sell your rats to anybody anymore because nobody's going to want them.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
can I ask
Adrian.
you?
I,
Can I
I
ask you
do
a question?
I do have some velvets. I have one female velvet, and she is currently whelping a litter, which should be giving me some more velvets. I assume half the litter is going to be velvet. I won't know until they start developing hair. They're pink right now, but yes, I do have some velvets.
So what's a
Nice.
velvet?
So a velvet is actually a cross um, between. Come here, buddy. I know,
Oh,
old man.
here we go. Now we do this.
Come here.
Don't get scared when you look back at the camera, but you're huge now.
No. So, so this guy. Let me get him up here. I know.
Oh
I'm sorry I
wow,
woke you up.
that is a fuzzy one there. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a Rex. This is actually a quality Rex. This boy is 7. Just so we're clear, that's why he's all, I don't want to be held and I'm tired and grumpy.
Yeah, he's like, man, put me back,
But you,
Mom.
you can see where he's starting to thin
A little bit, yeah, but
in
he looks
certain
great
places.
though.
He does that. They eat well, and I actually give them little baths and things like that. Here, I
They're
wish
spoiled.
I had a pedestal so I could actually set him down because that's what he wants. He wants to be set down.
Yeah.
But you can see the curly little whiskers.
Yeah. Okay.
All
But
right.
so the velvets basically just fill out more fur.
So you take a Rex. And you take a Harley, which has longer hair. Is it a Harley? Now I gotta think, because it's been a minute since I've actually. Because now that I have a velvet, I don't. I just breed my Rex to her, and that's how I get more velvets. But you end up getting, by breeding those. I actually have my paperwork here. Where is it at? I wrote some things down so that I could actually talk about certain things if you guys asked about them.
Uh-oh. Braves update from 7-Eleven. He had a Slurpee.
Fruit smoothie.
Always. So
So
you
you take a Rex rat, and you take it. They're actually called a velveteen, is what they're actually called. People call them velvet for short, but
sure.
they're actually called velveteen. So to make them, you take a Rex rat and you take a Harley rat, and you put them together.
Okay. But the basic the outcome you're looking for is just kind of that more fluffier,
Yes.
more filled out fur, basically.
They feel like velvet when you touch them.
Yeah. The hair's like different. It's real
Yes.
fine versus a coarser standard rat hair. Right?
And you can tell the difference because when you blow on the hair of a Rex rat, you'll actually see the skin as you blow the opposite way on the hair and it spreads. If you do that to a velveteen, you will not see the skin. They
Oh,
have
wow.
much tighter.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And then
Very cool.
come here, buddy. And then this is actually his brother. Yeah, well, younger, way younger from a younger litter. And as you can see, nice, long, but his whiskers aren't curly. He's got straight whiskers.
Oh yeah.
There's my nice little Harley boy.
But yeah, the hair. I mean, that one too. They just look so soft compared
Yeah,
to just
so
the standard
fluffy.
rat. Yeah.
Yeah, super soft.
Almost
super,
more like rabbit hair, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, you can just fluff it up like that.
Huh. It's like, don't start that, Mom, or we're gonna have to play. Damn it.
I know they do. I actually take them all out. I take all the boys out, and they go. I have a big cement mixing tote that has little toys and different kinds of things, and then bedding in it. And I put all the males in it and give them time to play together and time to run around, and then they'll get put away. I'll clean it out. I put the females when they're not whelping in it. They get time to play, time to run around. I interact with them. You can't really do like you do with a puppy and put like one of those little fence things around because they'll either slide through it or if you're getting them meshed, they chew right through it.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yes, they are super fuzzy. I love them to death. But that's working with those genetics to get that thick, lush coat on top of what they're eating. what they're eating
Right.
matters. It's not just about their health. It's about their coat, their eyes. A lot of rats, they get that crusty eye, or they get that red gunk building up in their eyes. It it's actually a mucus, so they're not bleeding. Their eyes aren't bleeding or anything. They do that naturally. That is
Mm-hmm.
actually like when they cry or tear up, that it comes out red. That's completely normal, actually, unless it's an overabundance where it's crusting their eyes together, and then that's a problem.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, they definitely a great animal. They're a lot of fun, and I take really good care of my animals.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
we know a little bit on the reptile side about how you go about doing your marketing, expos, things like that. Do you mix the two? Because obviously you're breeding
No,
reptiles and things too. Is this
no.
a completely separate arena and market, and like how you go about your rat side of it? Can you
Yes.
kind of explain how that works for us? Like, how do you find interested parties? How, what does that all entail? Because we're completely unfamiliar on that side of things.
So I started honestly by buying from reputable breeders. Uh, People in California, we have driven to Georgia to pick up a rat, just a dwarf rat, just to bring back home for me to breed. Um, you start there. Word of mouth gets spread. Hey, I sold to this person. They're closer to you than I am. Why don't you look them up and see if they have anything? I try to not do a whole lot, especially now with the snakes. I try to not do a whole huge amount of marketing. I'm basically relying on my customer base that I have had consistently. I do take the rats to shows with me when I have, like if I have extras, I have a waiting list for most of my rats. And my waiting list is up to 2 years out, depending upon
Wow.
depending upon what kind of coat color you want, or if there's a specific, if you want specifics. I want a Dumbo that is a blue blaze that is also a velveteen. You're talking 2-3 years out to wait for something like that. The boys I just showed off, they're blues. They're both blazes. One is a lightning blaze because he's got a thinner, more lightning style blaze on his face, and the other one is a wedge blaze because he actually has a wedge that goes up. There's different types of that. Come here, buddy.
Uh-oh. we got a little
I was,
baby.
I was wondering when this was going to come out of here.
So that is a wedge blaze. And then
Okay,
if you
sure.
see the sides of his mouth, he's got these cute little,
Cheeks, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
these
Yeah.
cute little, and then his back,
Oh, almost like diamond
so,
spots, yeah.
so he is actually a black variegated blaze.
Okay. Nice.
And he's a
Very cool.
variegated because he has the head cap and he has the markings down his back, not in a line or a specific pattern.
I would have just called him a two of spades.
And his belly is
Right.
clean.
Yeah.
Clean belly. Okay, so they do get belly color as well, or are they?
Yes, they do. And
Okay.
different belly colors are determine what they're called. So a self is any solid color rat. That means that the entire rat has to be all one color, including the belly. I have a self female, a black self female, and then I also have an apricot self female. Stay in there, because you'll run all over the place if I don't.
So yeah, that's great to know that that variety exists, and kind of to Brave's point too. Does that vary the price depending on what you're shooting for there and what they're looking for? Like, what
Yes.
does that range look like as far
Uh,
as simplistic up to like the most difficult thing to get?
So, real quick to continue on with the marketing aspect, just so we can
Oh,
get
sure,
that,
sure.
Get that covered, and then we'll move into that to the actual color and pricing aspect.
Okay.
So I do have to be careful because most people who breed rats, they do not agree with the whole feeding rats to snakes thing. So if I'm
Ah.
not super careful, I could actually get removed from a lot of lists because they would just assume that I'm feeding my rats to snakes as well as breeding, and it would start a whole bunch of drama.
Yeah.
Rat people are even finickier and kind of more judgmental, closed-mindedly judgmental than snake people can be. So
Okay.
it's a tough community, and once you're in it, you can't not be in it and be like one day, oh, I'm gonna start breeding this stuff. I mean, you can, and you're gonna basically be shunned by half the community that is truly passionate, the ones that are actually following the standard for AMFRA and things like that. So it's very hard. People don't normally most people who sell you pet rats, you have to sign a contract just like you do a dog, stating that you are not going to breed them. And it is a binding contract that can cause legal recourse if you do it, and it is found out that you do it behind the person's back after signing the contract. So
Gotcha.
there are a lot of rules and regulations, just like breeding dogs, basically.
Is
If
there a registry as well?
There is.
There's a. Okay.
So the American Fancy Rat and Mouse Association actually has a breeder registry.
AFAM.
Mhm.
Huh. Okay.
A-frame.
Crazy.
for
That
the
is
rats, but
Yeah, that's
I did
crazy.
not
Okay.
know that. Yep.
I had no clue.
Yeah. I am not
Alright.
one. I removed myself from their registry probably about 8 years ago because I couldn't go to shows after. Honestly, after COVID hit, everything became even harder as far as like the shows around here disappearing. There are no more rat shows around where I live at all. Now they're mainly in the Midwest and the West Coast. And it's just too far to drive, especially with doing the snakes now and everything else. I actually removed myself from their registry. Not that I've lost the quality or, the passion to do it, and I do still stick to their standards as far as what I'm breeding. I just more breed for pet than I do show these days.
Okay.
Sure.
I did years ago breed for show quality, and you could come get a show, and that's where I bought my stock from, was people who had show quality animals. I just don't anymore because it's really, really tough to get out there, to stay in the show circuit, to do all of that with everything else that I have going on.
For sure.
Yeah,
I get that.
I get
So
that.
I'm on
100%.
other breeder registries in different Facebook groups, Instagram groups, things like that. And like I said, I do take whatever is not marked off on my wait list. I'll take that to shows with me, and I'll sell those at like reptile shows and things. I have one table I put the rat stuff on because I also make my own rat toys. I do that as
Oh.
well. So
Okay.
so I'll set the rats up on a table. I've got this nice little travel cage that I take with me, and I put all their hammocks and their toys and stuff in there, so people can actually see what they really look like on the pet side. Because a lot of time when people go to shows, all they're seeing is a tote or a tank, and it's got a bunch of rats in it, and it just says
Yeah.
fancy rats, and it's
Pick one.
and they're all,
like
they're all
yeah,
huddled together in a corner, and they're not doing anything. So I want people to see the actual fun side of having a pet rat. So I take and it takes us almost 2.5 hours to set up just 2 tables.
I bet.
And
I bet. Yeah.
the rats actually take longer to set up and longer to break down than the snakes do.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Makes
And that's
sense.
always the thing, right? Like when we compare the two sides of things, when we describe it to people, like keeping reptiles versus keeping furries, if you want to call them furries, there's a ocean of difference in the two requirements. Like you said, on the breeding dogs, you don't even want to go into that arena when you talk about kennels and feed and cleaning and bathing and all of the walking and the exercise, all the things that go into a pet like that
And the
are
vetting,
nullified, right? You
yeah,
know,
the vetting for dogs. I mean, if you're breeding
100%.
smaller dogs like bulldogs and things, they have to have C-sections. You
Yeah.
have to actually take
Frenchies?
them in.
Yeah.
You have to take them in to get a C. You know how much that costs every time?
oh yeah, just forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
So-
does. It does. The mammal side does take a bit more than the reptile side. I mean,
For sure.
obviously, we still
Oh,
take
yeah.
our snakes to the vet and things like that. You know, if they're egg bound, if they're having issues, but the mammal side, it's a consistent with vets and shots and you know,
No.
your snake doesn't have to go get its rabies shot every year. It doesn't have to get its temper or, you know, parvo or rat bite
Right.
fever or, you know, you don't have to worry about that with your snake. You do have to worry about it getting sick, you know, taking it places, things, mites and things like that, but it's not as intensely necessary to have shots and vaccinations and things for the reptiles as it is for mammals.
100%. 100%. So
snake-
Connie mom, she pops in with one that Jamie's already going to go, yeah, absolutely they can be a good pet, because she singles out and she gets favorites out there, and those little things, you can go up and scratch their chin. I mean, they're calm as could be. But do they actually convert to a decent pet? I don't know.
I have never tried to make pets per se of single ASFs. I did train my ASFs. I can go in. It took some time, but again, they're smart, just like rats. ASFs are actually really smart, and if they get bored, they will destroy things. So I actually trained my ASFs when they have babies. I started out before they even had babies, when they were young, and I would take freeze-dried mealworms and sprinkle them in the back of their enclosure. I keep them in, I don't know if you guys had ever been before they stopped selling them on Reptile Basics, the big white tubs
Yep.
that have the grate that goes across with the hopper feeder setup.
Yeah, they were like the lab style tub.
Yes, that's what I have. Aside from the actual cages, I have actual cages that the rats stay in, but the ASFs are in tubs. The only time the rats go in tubs is if I have them here to show, or if they're moms, because I don't want to risk babies getting in between bars and getting none of that. So all the rats, majority of their life are in cages. They only go into tubs if they have to be quarantined for some reason, somebody's got a cold or something. But the ASFs, they live in those lab things, and I absolutely love those lab things for ASFs. They're amazing. Help with the smell and everything. ASFs do smell if you let them go long enough. Don't think they don't.
No, they definitely do. We're on a strict 1 week time limit, and everything is changed out and cleaned 100% every week. So,
But they can make good pets. The problem is ASFs are colony-based animals. They are group thinkers, group feelers. Their emotions are tied to the group. So to single out an ASF, it's going to be difficult. But with me, I sprinkle stuff in the back, trained them to go to the back. Now, when they have babies and I want to get babies out, I can stick my hand right in there, and as soon as I open it up, they'll go to the back of the cage, leave the babies in the front, and let me just scoop out what I need. And then they come right back over, I'll give them a treat, and they go right back to taking care of what babies I left behind.
sure.
So they can make good pets. I just don't honestly know how the aspect of keeping just one or two would work, seeing as how they are a group and colony oriented species.
Yeah, they're very
I wonder if it would
colony-
be. I wonder if it'd be easier with males than females, just because of that. Easier to have male pets than a female pet.
And that is a possibility. I have noticed my males do tend to be a bit more calmer than my females as far as, I mean,
Yeah.
mine, I can pick mine up. I forget, I think it was Fred and AJ's one of the times I was on with them. I went out and scooped up an ASF and brought it in here and was like, yeah, see? So
Yep.
mine are really good. It takes working with them, and honestly, the mean ones, I just called them off.
I
Yeah.
think that kind of was our routine early, and I don't know if it was intentional or they just got into enough scraps that they were like our first option when we went to feed. But like, we can go in there right now. We just got done doing them tonight. We clean on Wednesday nights. And I can take a mom that's just splooged out over a pile of babies and just kind of nudge her to the side. She looks at me like, what the heck you doing? Not a mean bone in any of their bodies. Like, their last thing is to bite. Like literally just pick them up with my bare hands. And people are like, are you crazy? Picking up an ASF like that? I'm like, no.
I get that a lot too, because a lot of people do. You know, my ASFs are mean. My ASFs are chewing the shit out of my stuff. One of the reasons rats and ASFs chew out of things is because they're bored.
Sure. Okay.
Like, boredom is a big thing with them. Doesn't matter if it's a dwarf, a standard, an ASF. As long as they have something to do, they're not going to chew their water lines. They're not going to chew out of their tubs or their totes or whatever you have them in. They need enrichment. Just like we need enrichment, just like dogs need enrichment. Even if they're a feeder, they still need enrichment so that they're not destroying your stuff.
Yeah. We found that, and maybe you can tell us one direction or the other, but something I had heard in my Connie mom put in there long ago, I had a pet Norwegian. I made a little necklace for him. He was all pimped out. He had the chains on and everything else. He was cool. But way back then, it was a cuddle bone thing that I would leave a cuddle bone in with him. Not to just, give him something he could, number one, work down his teeth, right? Because the teeth just constantly grow on these things. But they also found some kind of weird enrichment out of that, like getting something they could just gnaw and take their attention to. Is that a good or bad thing? Like, what do you recommend for like things to put in just for your colonies to chew or occupy themselves with?
So, it depends on how fancy you want to get. You can use something as simple as a paper towel tube or a toilet paper tube. I mean, heck, you can go to the dollar store and buy a roll of toilet paper and set it up on top with just a piece hanging down in. They will go to town unrolling
just
that thing.
Pulling that in there.
Pulling it in and playing with it and shredding it up. But I always tell people, for a cheap option, take a toilet paper or a paper towel tube. Just, the little, got one right here. Just one of these. You can cut it smaller, to fit in multiple. They're cheap. They're free. You're going to have them anyway after cleaning your snakes. Cut them up. Fold the sides in. Put some little treats in there. Put some uncooked pasta. Put Cheerios. Maybe a couple of frozen peas or some frozen blueberries.
Uncooked pasta. I hadn't thought of that, but like they love that, huh?
Yep. And then you just pinch the sides and kind of fold them so that they look like that.
Yeah.
And then do it to the other side, and it makes kind of like a little toy that they have to get into, so they have to chew through it to get to the treats inside of it. That'll keep them occupied. You do cooked pasta. They'll sit there and chew on cooked pasta. Now, obviously, don't overdo it. Don't pour like half a, bowl of uncooked pasta in there. And don't give them cooked pasta. Don't cook it and then give it to them. That's not good either. But in the summertime, when it's hot and they're out there sweating to death and panting, get a little dish like a non-tip bowl, and go to the store and grab a bag of frozen peas. Put some water in the dish and put some peas in the dish, and they'll actually bob the peas out of the water, so it almost looks like they're bobbing for apples, but instead they're bobbing for peas. It's really fun to watch them do that. I do it with blueberries too. Blueberries are another fun option. You can also take blueberries, banana, raspberries, and kind of like blend it up into almost like a smoothie. Brave,
where are you at out there? He's perked up right now.
You can put it into little ice trays and make little cubes and toss in there, and that gives them something to lick that's not only nutritious for them, but at the same, and in everything in small.
That was a big sigh.
Yeah, because we don't want to overdo. We don't want to overdo the sugar. Lots of sugar is very bad for rats, ASFs, but you can throw an ice cube in there that's made up of all these fruits, and you can even do vegetables. And then that gives them something to lick and chew on to cool them down in the hot summertime, especially for you people who live in Arizona, in Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia. And that'll help cool your rats down. Overheated rats don't breed.
Okay,
overheated soft furs might, because soft furs really like to be warm.
Yeah.
but overheated rats don't breed.
So we're on a great little chunk that I was kind of hoping we'd get to, because there's a lot of variety of keepers, right? All the way from the people doing it just for feed to the pet people. But can we finally just get through like a list of absolutely do not give these to your rodents? You know what I mean? Because I think there's a lot of confusion out there, like they can't eat carrots or they can't eat, specific things. Are there just absolute no's people need to avoid?
There are a lot of no's. It'd be easier to tell you the yeses than it would be the no's.
Okay, maybe, yeah, you tell us. Is there a better way to look at that list?
Let me see if I can actually find. I have a printed list. So when I give out my babies, they always go with a care guide that I wrote up on how to take care of them. And in that care guide, it actually tells you the things they can and can't have. Actually, might be on here.
I hear so much conflicting information where, like you said earlier on the chocolate thing, and it's like, who do I listen to?
It's conflicting information because there isn't as much research. Like, there's research done, but it's not as papered as what you would think. And a lot of the research that's done, what people don't realize is, so like citrus. Citrus is bad for male rats. Male rats, not female rats. It's bad for male rats. But it's technically not the citrus itself that is bad for the male rats. It's the L-liminin that is in the rind of the citrus fruit that is bad for male rats. So technically, if you were to peel an orange, peel the membrane, and get just the piece of fruit that is inside that membrane and give a small piece, they'd be fine. Because the amount of L-liminin that is actually transferred from the peel through the membrane to the fruit is not enough to actually harm a male rat. When they did that study to find that out about the
They
citrus,
just threw a whole orange in there.
no. They were giving them straight high doses of L-liminin for a consistent, prolonged amount of time. You give anybody anything in high doses for a consistent, prolonged amount of time, of course you're going to see side effects.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, including water,
Yeah, exactly.
You can you can actually drown your brain by drinking too much water.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what people don't ever take into consideration. It's the excess of something.
It is. It is all about the excess. I will tell you what, 'cause I don't even know if I can find it at the moment. Here we go.
While you're looking there, have you ever heard of feeding, I think, roasted soybean?
No, soy is not good for rats.
I wouldn't think so
I would
either.
think no, yeah.
that's my thoughts too. I had talked to somebody who said that they did that, and they said they've been doing great. And I was like, I feel like soy would be a problem, but
It's definitely more so a problem. It would be more so a problem for male rats.
Male
It would
rats.
be female rats. Kind of like how large amounts of soy is actually not good for men, whereas it's not as bad for women.
Gotcha.
Down there, that's actually raw potatoes. That is perfect. Sweet potatoes. Do not feed raw sweet potatoes to your rats. No raw potatoes. No apple seeds. Anything that contains arsenic, you obviously don't want to give your rat, just like you wouldn't eat it yourself.
Sure.
Real quick, while I'm actually looking, because like I said, I do have a list. While I'm looking, we'll hop back to the question about pricing and coat colors. The rarer the rarer the coat color, the more valuable the rat. The harder the coat is to produce. Werewolves, the more pricey the animal. I price my animals based off of coat type, coat color, and ear type. So if you're getting a Dumbo-eared rat over a top-eared rat, that's going to cost you extra because I have to actually put two Dumbos together to get that. And that may alter my plans for the coat color or coat type I'm trying to breed. So when I'm doing like the weight listing, I have a specific list of what each thing costs, what each color costs, and then what it costs on top of that. So it's basically like a base. I start with a base. This is what you want. It's an extra this for whatever coat color. It's an extra this for whatever coat type. If you want one that we have odd eyes, I actually breed odd eyes, which are rats with one black eye and one either ruby eye or red eye. I have odd eyes. If you want an odd eye, they're even harder to come by as far as breeding. So that raises the price as well. No, you cannot ship rats.
No
Not
shipping
live,
rats.
Not live ones anyway. It's just not worth it. It is so expensive to have to fly and all of the procedures, because you can get smaller companies to do it, but there are specific procedures that have to be done. They have to be in a specific type of container, and you're spending more money to have it shipped to you than you're paying for the rat 3 times over.
Right.
So, question again, like the Dumbo ear that you talked about, you said you have to put 2 of those together. So if you pair a Dumbo and a Dumbo, does that mean all your babies are Dumbos, or
Yes.
is it a percentage? Okay, so it just, as long as they both are, that's going to carry.
Yes.
Okay.
So
It's a recessive, basically.
yes, it is. A lot of you'll find that a lot of the rat traits are recessive. Blue is recessive, as opposed to the black or the brown. Black
So that-
is actually recessive to the brown, to the agouti.
So apparently there can be het blues out there, or you would never end up with blues, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And there are different kinds of blues. You have powder blue, you have sky blue, you have American blue, you have blue agouti, you have Russian blue, you have blue dove, you have roan, which is roan as they call it. That
Like in the horses and
Yep.
whatnot,
so
yeah.
there are many types of blues, just like there are, you have agouti apricot, normal apricot. It's kind of the same with snakes. You can stack genes on to other genes. Now, you can't do it as impressively as you can do snakes. Man, that would be nice.
Right. Start getting some crazy patterns.
Oh
in there.
man, I'd love to have a calico rat that's not a chimera. That would be
So-
amazing. But
We sent you one that was almost calico looking.
so that's
Have you
a soft fur. Yeah,
Right,
I did
right.
see that. That is super impressive. I'm actually curious to see if it actually breeds. Because in rats, as I said, when you start getting the 3-colored and multicolored, they're normally a version of chimera.
Kind of a fluke. Okay.
So they are generally sterile. Mice, not so much. So that's why I'm interested about the ASFs, because they're not quite a mouse and they're not really
Not
a rat.
quite a rat. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm curious to see how that goes in an ASF. Making me excited.
Right.
Yeah, mice are so much more fun, but they smell, and I can't stand mice. So they're cute. I love to look at them, but I have a very small amount of rats and my dwarf rats in my ASFs. I don't have a huge collection. That's why another reason why my waiting list is so long, because I only have about 20 animals total when it comes to the dwarf rats. I don't have anything huge. We live in an apartment. So the sunroom is where the rats are, and then here in the living room we have all the baby snakes and the incubator and all, and then up in our loft, because they cut out half of the attic and kind of like raised the ceiling in the bedroom, the loft is where all the adult, juvenile, and subadult snakes are. So I don't have a whole lot of room to work with. And I have asthma. I was actually in a warehouse fire about 7 years ago, and I had exercise-induced asthma when I was a child. The warehouse fire actually scarred my lungs, so I have scar tissue on my lungs.
Great. Just
So
what you needed, right?
So yeah, so doing the rats, and I'm a smoker on top of that. I smoke cigarettes, so that's not helping either. So having a large quantity of rats, I can't breathe, even if I'm wearing a mask, and I do.
Yeah.
I actually do wear a mask when I go out and clean. I don't wear one obviously if I've just got a couple of them hanging out with me or whatnot. But if I'm out there cleaning, I wear a mask to clean the snakes, unless it's these little guys that are on like paper towel. I
Yeah.
even wear a mask because you still get dust and dust
Yep.
particles from the bedding from the snakes.
I do the same thing. If I'm going to clean out a tub, especially if it's one that's got like Coco really wants to make dust at the bottom, and I've done it without it, and I suffer for like 2 days afterwards. So I just put a mask on and call it a day.
So with me, I do keep a much smaller colony of rats and ASFs. I
Keep
actually only
down.
have two tubs of ASFs. I don't need anything huge because I only use the ASFs really to get the babies going. I have found that they're more likely to take a crawler ASF on their first meal than
Yes.
they are to take like a fuzzy rat. And again, I don't really care for mice, so I don't want to have to use like hopper mice and stuff. So the baby ASFs work perfectly for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're looking to get a rat from me, because somebody did ask about the shipping, who would have thunk? Yeah, it can
Who
be.
would've thunk it?
Small amounts, and only when they actually have an RI. About I think it's like 3 weeks. You give them one little piece, like one little chip, every day for 3 weeks, and it'll clear up their RI. Anything that is high in sugar, you want to try and avoid for your rat.
Yeah.
Small doses, very small doses of anything that is high in sugar.
Yep.
So, Adrian had mentioned at one point he gives bones. Now, I don't know if he's talking poultry bones or if he's talking some other kind of something about their smell. Does that take down the amount of ammonia? Does it do something with the scent of
I
that?
don't know. I don't feed mine bones.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He had mentioned it way back, and he talked about giving them bones, and I'm wondering, is this
Yeah.
chicken bone? Is this a pork bone? What the heck are they getting here? But anything to reduce scent is a welcome thing, by the way. So if you have anything that might go into their diet that would reduce a bit of the ammonia, or
Into their diet. So Missouri and Kalmbach are the two kind of competing things right now. You can hit me up on Instagram. I do have a Facebook. I'm not on there as much just because there's so much drama. But under Voodoo Doll Royals on Instagram, you can hit me up. Just let me know that you're interested in dwarf rats, and I will get back to you and get in touch with you.
nice.
As far as like, so Kalmbach actually has an ingredient in it that is supposed to reduce the smell of the rats. I've never noticed a difference between it reducing the smell, honestly. What I will say is Kalmbach is animal protein based food, whereas Missouri is plant based protein. Their protein is plant based.
Okay.
So I feed a mix of both because I believe that a well-rounded diet is a good diet, and lab block is always going to be one of the staples for any rat. It doesn't matter, any rodent that you're breeding, feeding, whatnot. Lab block is always a necessary staple.
Okay.
So smell-wise, I actually don't so much notice between what I feed them. My rats do get quite a bit of blueberries and things that, while they have sugar in them, they are also packed full of antioxidants.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Blueberries are really low sugar too, so
Well, but for a rat, for something that's
Yeah.
so tiny, that it's still quite a bit of sugar if you're feeding handfuls of them.
yeah.
Don't
You
be
know.
throwing in wads.
Yeah, just dump the whole quart in. It's fine. But I have noticed that things that tend to have more antioxidants do help with smell. But I use different beddings than most of you guys who are breeding for feed use. I actually use a lot of hemp, which is
Oh,
it is more expensive, but it absorbs better. It
Okay.
actually it's 10 times more absorbent than say aspen
okay.
or what's the other one that
Pine flakes is a real common, you
yeah
know.
pine, and you have to be careful with pine. Did you know that pine can cause kidney failure in rats?
No, I did
Same
I
not.
didn't
same
Now,
know that.
same
No.
same with cedar. Cedar's even worse, but yeah, if it is not kilned properly, like if they don't kiln dry it properly, pine can actually cause kidney failure in rats.
okay.
It's okay
Just
to use
exposure to the saps and things in it, I
it's
imagine.
okay to use with soft furs, but rats are much more sensitive. Rats have a super sensitive respiratory system, which is why your rats sneeze a lot more. They're a lot more kind of, coffee and this and that. It dust. Anything low in dust is going to be more beneficial to them
Maybe
than
that's why they're cleaner too naturally. They're constantly always kind of cleaning and
I clean them the same as you would any rats, especially the ones. So, as I had mentioned, most of my rats live in cages. So I use for them. I actually use a lot of like felt and fleece bedding. So
Okay.
not only are the hammocks done in fleece, but I actually have one over here. Give me a second, I'll pull it out.
Sure.
My emergency stashed away one because it's my favorite one. So this is a fleece liner. It actually has what's called Zorb in the middle of
Oh.
it, and it folds up, But it actually has what's called Zorb in the middle of it, and it is an absorbent liner that goes in the bottom of the cage. And this one's actually for my portable cage that I take to the shows. That's why it's so tiny. My other ones are like this wide, and I'm not going to try and pull them and unfold them out.
Right.
But these can just be thrown right in the washing machine.
oh,
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously, please do not do it with your clothes, especially after a week's worth, of rat.
Right, right.
But that,
Almost want a separate washing machine completely at some point, you know.
that also goes into the, like cleaning. Like, I actually clean anybody who's on fleece, I clean them twice a week. But I have extra stuff to put in while I'm washing. I go and get one of those, like, lingerie bags, and then I just put all their fleece stuff in there, zip it up,
oh, yeah.
toss it in the washing machine. Then I don't dry it because drying it shrinks it, and obviously you want your liner to you want the top of the cage to sit on the liner so that they're not pulling it up and digging into it and getting under it and all.
Sure.
So is the liner replaceable, or does it just stay in there?
Nope, it just stays in there.
Just
and
stays?
You just wash it until it falls apart, which actually these things are pretty, I've had this one going on 2 years now, and I take
wow.
it to every show we go to and wash it after every show.
Sure.
Again, pets. Now we're not doing breeding
Yeah.
and feeding
Yeah,
on it.
we're not talking feeders.
Right.
So, but my pet rats or my breeding rats, they are on these as well, just bigger versions. But yeah, I just pull them out, I toss them in the washing machine, and like I said, their hammocks and all that stuff, I just put it in a zip. It saves money because you're
Yeah.
not constantly having to buy. Now, I do have some rats that they prefer to be able to dig, so they get the hemp bedding.
Okay.
I'll put like liner on one side, and then I put like a little pan, like one of the little metal disposable pans that you get. I'll put on the other side of it, I'll put a pan that's the length of the cage that actually has the hemp bedding in it, so that they can go in there and dig, and obviously if they go to the bathroom in there, and then I just change that out.
Okay.
Is the hemp bedding, is it like a flake system, or is it like more of a shredded?
Let's see if I can get it without it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
almost like little chips. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, like chipped. Okay.
There you go.
Gotcha. Perfect. Yeah, I was curious how they make that because I know it tends to want to get almost like wiry or stringy hemp when it wants to pull apart in fibery
Yep.
material.
So it's basically made. They just take the stalk and chip the stalk up,
Yeah. Gotcha.
and it does. It smells better. It, like I said, it's more absorbent. I have gone away when my son was in his car accident a few years ago. I was at the hospital every night for almost 2 weeks, so the rats didn't get cleaned. Like, I made sure my husband fed them and gave them water and stuff, but they didn't get cleaned for 2 weeks because I was at the hospital consistently hoping that he was going to survive.
Yeah.
And he did. He's fine. He's an
Oh,
idiot.
good.
He got back on. He bought another motorcycle. That's.
Well,
But anyway, but 2 weeks, and on that hemp bedding, they still. When I came home, you could barely smell that the rats
Really?
were even in the house.
Oh,
Like I said, it is very absorbent. It works very well. I use there are cheaper brands out there, but I use the Rent-A-Coop. It's a big bag, red, the writing and the packaging it's clear, and then it's got red on it. It's really good stuff. It is pricey. It's like $72 for I think it's 120 liters or like 30 pounds.
Oh, so it is up there.
Yeah,
But
so
worth it if you're
30.
in small quantity.
Yes. So
Okay.
if and rats get allergies. So the bumps that you're seeing on your rats, they're not necessarily bug bites. They're not necessarily old age. It could be that they're allergic to the bedding that they're on.
Okay.
It does happen. They just like they have sensitive respiratory issues. They also are very susceptible to allergies.
So, in doing this for 4 years, and again, we'll switch back to the ASFs because I think this is pretty common around the community. We see this not super common, but we'll get 1 in 6 colonies that gets the inner ear thing, where it just wants to head kind of sideways and it wants to, when you pick it up and move it, it wants to flip. And it's obviously got an ear infection of some sort, and it's pretty rare, but we do see it. Jamie could tell me
Enough.
better, but maybe once every couple months we'll get
Yeah.
1 in a colony that has that. It is an inner ear thing, I assume, right? I mean, everyone else is acting normal, and
Yeah, it could be an inner ear infection. I have seen it, but I don't see it very often at all in my rats, or in my suffers for that matter. It could be that a piece of dust or debris from the bedding, or even a piece of poo that happened to get kicked up could have gotten in there, and it just kind of started to it's an ear. So inside your ear, it's moist. It's kind of got its own little bacterias and things. And for a rat, a rat can't. It can scratch, but it can't really get in there to
to clean it. Yeah,
lodge and clean. So it is potential that it could have just been something got in the ear. Heck, one of those little tiny gnats could have got in its ear and couldn't find its way out, died, and that started a bacterial outbreak inside the ear. So
Okay.
like an ear infection. I don't notice too often. Certain colored rats are actually born deaf. Like there's for certain colored rats, there's a 90% chance that they're going to be born deaf.
Oh,
That's
So
crazy.
I know that
So
I know that's a thing, but as far as just randomly developing ear issues, it's not something I've seen super common. So I would assume that's what it is. Is it's maybe they got a scratch and it got infected, or something got in there and and especially this time of year, we all get those little tiny flies, the little tiny fruit flies,
yeah.
and they get in there and they'll pester them and bother them and bite them, and so then they're constantly itching and scratching, and then they're cutting themselves, and then that makes it worse. So
Sure.
I would say that it's more something along those lines than it would be some sort of like genetic defect or some kind of growth like a tumor growth or something like that. I would say it's more of an infection, probably some kind of infection in the ear.
Okay, so we're in the size of what we're doing. We're basically in a single 28 spot rack right now, and like I say, we'll see this every maybe 2.5, 3 months, and it's a single animal. You know what I mean? It's not like it's spread across several, and it's just one we spot in a colony and go, well, that one has it. But it's always doing that equilibrium thing. They kind of want to walk in a little bit of a circle as they're tilting their head, and they just act a little odd. You know what I mean?
So there actually are, again, certain colored rats do have like neurological issues. Like certain coat colors actually come, and coat types even come with their own issues.
Okay.
And it could actually be that whatever that line specifically of those animals, keep an eye on what color they are.
Yeah,
Like-
I have not
like-
paid attention to that at all. So
Keep an eye on what color they are, because it actually could be from a specific line you have that is causing these animals to, as they're getting older, you're noticing it more in adults than babies, right?
it's a pretty weird mix. So the
Is it?
onset doesn't seem to matter with age. It's like I say, it'll be a single, and it's one in a tub of 15 or 20, and it's just it has that issue, and then we'll go another 3 months and not see it again. We cull that animal, we'll feed it or do whatever, assuming it's fine, but
So
it never
could
goes
be.
in a group. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's not like the whole tub is suffering or that litter is suffering, anything like that. It seems so spread apart.
It could be a genetic. It could be something in one of the genetics that you have that is actually causing every one baby out of so many to develop, whatever the genetic. It could be a neurological thing. It actually could
Sure.
be something neurological. We all know spiders have the inner ear problem with
Sure.
their equilibrium. So it could be something, which they found to be a neurological defect. Like, could be the same thing with the rat. There could be some kind of mutation or genetic deformation in that specific line that I pay attention to the color of the coat.
Yeah, we'll keep
for
an
the
eye.
next couple and let me know, because I'm wondering if it is an actual coat color trait, like if it is something that is tied to, because certain coat colors do have blues. Blues actually have really bad immune systems. If they get sick, it is super hard for them to get better, and a lot of them don't. They just decline until they pass, unless you have a good genetic staple background. Hairless and werewolf, they actually have a lot of health issues. As far as like the lactation, females don't lactate, so they it's never recommended to breed a male hairless and a female hairless together. It's always recommended to breed a male hairless to a female with hair, so that you're not having those issues, because then
Yeah.
they have the babies and all the babies die because the females can't lactate. So with rats, certain genetic colors and coat types are actually tied to their own health issues.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. Well, we're definitely going to have to revisit a ton of this. Is there anything you want to tell people just in general on the whole rat topic? I mean, I know we're looking at a wide variety of people that do purely for feed, people that do purely for pet. There's in-betweens that do both, like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's people that would not even consider a rat pet. Is there like a general statement you want to put out on the topic, period, that we haven't really touched on?
I mean, rats are really cool, and everybody should have one as a pet. I will leave a tidbit for you feeder breeders,
Okay.
because I know females are important to you guys, obviously, because they're the ones that have the babies. So, if you feed a diet that is high in fat, so your diet you're feeding your animals is higher in fat content than it is in carb content, you're going to have more male babies. If you're
Oh.
feeding a higher carb content and throwing a little bit of salt, so like one of those little salt licks. I use the mineral ones because the salt ones seem to be a bit too much, but if you get one of the like brown mineral ones, that will actually give you a more better ratio of female babies. It is actually a scientifically proven fact that like actually the scientists figured this out in the lab, which is really cool. And I've done some deeper research into it and tested it out. But yes, if you are looking to have more females, feed carbs. Not so much that you're making your animals sick, please. Please don't.
Right,
You know,
right.
please let's not kill our animals because we're, making them obese and but during your breeding times or the times that you notice that they're, getting ready to, because with the salt, you can do it all the way up until they have the babies.
Huh. Okay.
But if you want the females, like more females, if you want a larger female ratio, yeah, salt, higher carbs. If you want males, which I don't know who in their right mind really wants, an abundance of males, but higher fats. But
So,
little
moral
tidbit.
of the story is, guys are fatheads, and the girls are sweet. They go for all the carb stuff, right?
Well, I mean, look at how many women love pasta, and
Yeah. Okay. But that's an easy way to remember it. Fatheads, guys. Carbs for the girls. Okay. We'll keep that in mind for sure. And we'll test it out here.
Yeah, that will definitely help you guys at least, with some of your litters. And larger litter sizes are actually less healthy for your snakes.
Okay.
Just so you know that when you're having those nice big 13, I had a 13 or a 26 litter, the babies aren't as healthy because there are so many of them that the nutrients had to be so far divided up to produce that many babies that they're not as healthy or robust nutrient-wise or health-wise as, say, an 8 to 12 litter.
Yeah, we have seen that in our production, and we've kind of gotten things down to our timing and when we supplement what, that we're really hitting that 10 to 14 instead of the 16 to 20.
Yep.
And the babies are so much nicer. I mean, they grow quicker, they thicker coat, they just look better in general. They're not eyes open, ears out, and thin running around the tub. They're like chunky. Do you know what I mean? So
And that's obviously, that's better feed going into your snake
yeah,
than
100%.
feeding it something that was this big up until it hit adulthood, and then it kind of fattened up a bit because it got some excess fat to it, and so
absolutely.
So that's another little tidbit that I have picked up on from breeding. And, like I said, I don't really feed other than the soft furs. I don't really feed. Sorry, buddy. I know, I smocked you.
He's like, let me out.
Oh, well, I went to move my hand, and he
Bumped him?
moved at the same time, and I kind of booped him.
Ah,
So, but yeah, so there are definitely some things that you can do. I'm going to go ahead, and it was asked of me about a month and a half ago. And honestly, I just got busy and forgot. I actually just found out a couple weeks ago I'm going to be a grandma. And
Okay.
first time grandma.
Congrats.
And
Congrats.
yeah, there's been a lot going on over here. We have way more females went as far as the snakes than what we expected were going to go. And it's been busy. But I was asked to post the do's and do nots for food. I will make sure that I get it posted, over this weekend.
yes, that would be fantastic.
So I will post that up because it would be easier for you guys to screenshot it than to have to sit here and try and jot it down or to consistently rewind. I mean, you'd be hardcore replay gang trying to get all that down.
Now, come to think
thank
of it, let's just do that here then, real quick. No,
Yeah,
just to
replay,
force people to
replay,
read. We won't do that to you.
You all have 1 minute And whoever writes all this down and can remember it all gets something nice. I don't
Right,
know what,
exactly.
but
Absolutely.
starting now. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
But
no, and we
I'll make sure
definitely
to get
need.
it up so you guys can screenshot it. And
Yeah, we need to revisit this, and we need to give you, more time to like, because you've got so much information. I mean, we could literally have like a 6-hour show and just talk all the ins and outs of this stuff. But dude, appreciate it 100%. We're gonna drag Jamie back out. She's been hiding back there. I'll let her
I
collect
know,
herself
I
because
miss her.
she's usually painting toenails or doing something. No, I'm kidding. She's laughing back there and paying attention.
I don't know if
I
I can
warned
go for
her
6
before.
hours, John. I might
Right,
get
right.
tired.
I have that black eye we joked about, but no, we'll bring her out.
Hello.
She has her opportunity too. I know she is kind of. Jamie and I have done the rats forever. If you had anything specific, Jamie, you wanted to ask while she's on here, because you hide back there running comments and stuff. Did
I
you want to
didn't.
ask
You
about
guys
your
covered-
favorites?
I mean, I just pull my favorites to make a colony, but I don't have any questions about it. I
Okay.
did read somebody in the comments said that albinos produce less babies than others. Is that fact?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
do tend to produce less. Albinos are obviously they're the standard lab rat.
Okay.
So it's just kind of a common
Yeah.
thing for them. They do have
Okay.
health issues because they have horrible eyesight. Rats in general
Yeah.
have horrible eyesight, but albinos, they are really bad, and they startle easy, which stresses them out. And a stressed out
Mhm.
female does not produce rats. We actually talked backstage about the interuterine abortions, where
Yeah.
they can actually abort their own babies whenever throughout their gestation
That's
if
crazy.
you run the vacuum and it stresses them out.
Yeah.
So rats are super sensitive, and especially certain coat colors and coat types are even
Yeah.
more sensitive than others.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that ear thing. We don't see it a ton, so it might take a few months, but I'll keep track. We have a whiteboard out there, so I'll keep track of.
I am super curious to know
color,
if
yeah.
if it's actually
Yeah.
related to coat color.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
kind of more
tending to
tempted to
think
think
they're all
it's.
lighter ones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really think it's just like we talked. It gets
Yeah.
something kicked in its ear
I
because
think
there's so
so,
many
too.
in the tub.
Yeah.
It just gets a hunk of dirt in there, and it just happens to be the unlucky one with
Yeah.
an infection. Is my thought, but
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
recall any trend.
You
Like,
can
hey, they're all
always
great.
go. You can always go grab one of those little doctor things that they stick in your ear, and you can
Right.
always
yeah.
The syringe.
Look in there.
Oh man, can you
with the little
imagine
light on
as
it,
it's
the little
gnawing
thing
your
with the little
finger?
light, and
Yeah.
It's not sitting still for that. I can tell you that.
really, mine
funny.
sits still. What's wrong with
Oh no,
yours?
these guys
Some
would
of 'em
not
do.
tolerate that.
My favorite ones sit still.
I say most of my favorite ones sit still a lot longer than the other ones. I mean,
Yeah.
they all get held. I actually, before they're even born, when mom starts nesting, I take strips of fleece and I sleep with it. Like I
Oh.
cut it into strips. I don't know if I have any strips here, but I cut it into little strips and I sleep with it to get my smell on it.
Okay.
And then I mix it in with the nest so that not only are they smelling her when they're first born, but they're smelling
you.
me. And then I just
Yeah.
replace it every 3 to 4 days.
Huh.
So they start
sneaky.
young knowing who I am.
Yep.
Kind of like the rat CIA priming the public.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
I get my
it's
smell
all about
in there.
it's all about bonding. The more
Yeah.
time you spend, that's why I have the bonding pouch, because the more time you spend bonding with them, the closer they're going to be to you. I had my very first male that I produced. He wouldn't go to anybody but me. I could hand him to somebody and he would jump off of them
Oh.
to get back to me. Even
That's
my
crazy.
husband, he wouldn't even go to my husband.
Yeah,
So,
they get pretty
they-
particular. They have their people. for
They
sure.
do, and they bond very, very closely with those people, especially when you keep singles. I don't recommend that you keep a single rat. It's unless you're giving it your attention all day, every day, and it's going everywhere with you. I don't recommend it. But I know people who do, and that little rat is their life for its life.
Yeah.
And they do really well, but they bond. If they don't have another rat to bond to, they will bond to you, like you're their mother.
For sure. 100%.
Oh,
Smart little critters.
they're
Absolutely.
cute. Yeah.
We do have to do one other thing, and I've kind of neglected it to this point, so I'm going to throw it in there for the people still paying attention. Hashtag rats, guys. It's 10 more Forge coin. We're going to roll that out randomly. We give this about a minute and a half. Let people plop that in there. If you hashtag rats, you get a shot at the spin. We'll spin that in a few, and I'll kind of keep an eye on how many names we got added in there and see what kind of a participant count we got before we spin
If you can't tell by my eyes, I'm getting very tired.
we all are. And
My-
we talked a little before the show. We're headed somewhere. Everybody else, out in the audience, a lot of people are on their way to Daytona. If they're not there already, they're in transit. There's a lot of stuff going on this week. So truly appreciate your time, Tara. We really do.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I'm more than happy to come on. Like I said, I'm excited to talk about rats, and if it helps out you guys as breeders or anybody in the chat, whether they're breeders, for feed, or they want to get into rat breeding for pets, or for whatever reason, if it's helping out the community, that's definitely something I want to be doing. I don't
100%.
want to keep knowledge to myself that can benefit everybody.
Right.
for sure. But we'll revisit this. We'll come back and
Yeah.
we'll hit other topics. I'll try to think of things we didn't touch on because there's a pile of them. I mean, we literally could talk forever.
Oh,
But I want to do a
have-
snake show too.
Yeah, I have tons of stuff that I can talk about rat-wise. Lots of things. We can go over coat colors and the genetic defects. We can go over, again, the rarer coat colors. Did you know there's a gold rat?
I did not.
Yeah,
No.
it is not a 14 karat gold.
Right.
But the coat color is gold. It is actually one of the rarest coat colors for rats, and they are very pricey. But
Yeah.
there. And anybody in the chat, if you have questions that weren't touched on tonight, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, and I will get back to you. Might take me a day or two. I do work. Like I said, I'm about to be a grandmother, so my daughter has been just berating me with questions and wanting to go look at this and look at that, and she just looked at a $700 stroller, and I'm like,
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
so it might take me a day, 24 hours, but it won't take longer than, a day, two max to get back to you. If there's a question that wasn't answered that you do want to know about, just hit me up. I am more than happy to help you. I am more than happy to, get in touch with you about whatever you may need, as long as I can help. And if I don't think I can help, I will point you to somebody that I do think would be able to help you.
Awesome.
Knowledge for the community is power for the community.
Also, we never touched on this. You are in the 15 minutes of lame this year.
I am.
So, no, don't say it that way. Don't get hype about it because I think you have a really good shot this year. I know there's some other contestants out in the audience. There's other people that were. I think you're going to get a ton of votes out of nowhere. I think you got a lot more support than you think. So.
Well, we'll see. I'm doing it for the experience to grow. I'm not super big on social media as far as like posting and getting, the like live, doing lives or things like that, reels. I just put my first reel out I think day before yesterday. So I want to, this pushes me to have to learn how to do it and have to actually put myself out there. And I'm super excited, and I do want to win. But according to somebody, Nick, he's going to win, and he's the only one that can be voted for. So it's fine. I love Nick.
That does make it harder.
Love you,
for
Nick. You're one of my favorites. But there's a lot of great competition this year. I mean, there's a lot of great competition every year, but this year there's definitely a lot of great competition amongst great people who are actually friends. Like
That's what I was gonna
super,
say. It's like a
lot
tighter
of
friend group.
people. Like I don't live that far away from Jamie from Tire Gods. You know, I talked to Will from the Python Portal. I talked to Nick. Like it, we're all kind of in this little niche together
Yeah.
for the most part. You know, Ashley from Catalina, you know, I'm always saying hi to her in chat and, you know, watching what she does. And so it's definitely going to be tough just because there's a lot of great people in it.
Yeah.
And I do want to win. It would be amazing to do so. But trying my best and working hard to open myself up to a new experience and kind of push myself out of my shell is reward enough as far as, you know, what I hope to gain out of it. If I win, that's really, really great. And I would love that, obviously. But just being included in general is an honor. You know,
for sure.
it's not like everybody and their brother gets to be invited to 15 minutes of lame.
Right.
And at the same time, it's giving me a push to do better and be better. And that's part of the experience that I really, really am looking forward to and really enjoing. So
Yeah. Take
if
the
I
push.
win-
We want to see the dance videos and
Yeah.
all of the lip syncing and all the craziness.
can't dance. I haven't danced since, you know, what, mid 90s when I was raving. Like,
Right.
you used to sit in a dark room and do
The
this.
glow sticks and the,
But yeah, you know, I am excited, and I do have some neat little skits that, you know, me and my husband are working on and coming up with.
Nice.
It's just getting
I
them
can't wait.
executed. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm just honored in general to actually be in 15 minutes and to have the opportunity to get the push that I needed to experience and get out there, get my name out there more, get myself out there more, and be a little more confident and, you know, comfortable in the role of marketing.
Yep.
For sure. That's absolutely
Very cool.
what it's about. And
I'm
you're going to
looking
do
forward to
just
it, yeah.
fine. There has to be a dance reel. There's got to
Yeah.
be. Dance reel. Guys got like 10 seconds. We're going to spin it. We're going to give away. Ooh, we got Dennis West in there. We got Mitzi. We got Connie Mom. We got all kinds of people in there. It looks like we got a pretty good turnout. So I'm going to give it a countdown. I think we're at about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's just spin this thing out. Let's just do it. See what we get.
Do it.
Good luck, folks.
The
Anybody
winner
that threw their name in there?
is- Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Forge Coin, you can spend it with like 34 different people now, guys. Stuff from across the entire community. Merch, animals. Dennis!
Dennis West.
Dennis. Haven't seen him win one yet, I don't think. So Jay's jotting that down. He'll put it in the books. $10 in your pocket, man. That goes toward a shirt, goes toward whatever, and it is cash. Anybody that's on that list, you can spend it exactly like cash, and we compensate them back. So don't feel like you're gypping anybody or you're shorting people. They get $10 put in their hand for whatever you buy from them. So go out and spend that stuff, guys. If you got cash floating around, don't forget there's a ton of opportunity to do that. Tara, we're going to have you back on a
Thank
No
you.
Remorse show, and we're going to talk
Yeah.
snakes. But we're probably going to dip back into rats. I'm not
Oh,
going
that's
to lie.
fine. If
It'll
you want to
probably
do
come
a
up
half
again.
and half, we can do a
Yeah.
half and half.
Yeah,
that'd be
it's
cool.
That'd be
going to
awesome.
happen, though.
I was say, you know me. I'm pretty easygoing with whatever you guys want to do, what you want to talk about. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem. It's
And that way I can
I'll
stick you
follow.
in the hot seat.
Yes,
Ooh.
hot
I'm
seat,
actually
hot
I'm
seat.
actually excited about that. Like I said, I think I'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think you would
fun.
too.
I think
I
you
like
would be
it.
just fine.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different reaction. The most outgoing people have the worst time, and it seems like the most reserved just fire through there like nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's so weird, but appreciate it 100%,
Yeah,
Tara.
thank you.
Thank you everybody out there that came out tonight. We got a great one next week that is going back to No Remorse. We've got Marcel. I don't know if his wife's going to be on too. She may be on also, but Forbidden Scales, guys. That's going to be a fairly new couple coming into this, but they've got all the right cues, all the right input, fantastic group of people around them from the Dinker Squad, all the way through the different groups they're involved with to start them right. And they already have some fantastic animals and a great attitude. I wanted to have them on a while back. We've got them nailed down for next week. Come out next week and check them out. It's going to be brand new to some of you people. Yeah, hot seat, hot seat. It's going to be brand new to some of you people for them, but a fantastic couple, and it's going to be fun to sit down with them. So, guys, have a great weekend. If you're traveling, going to the show, going down to Daytona, travel safe. Have a fantastic time. I wish we could have hit it. It did not align this year. Next year we're going 100%, but
Well,
finish out your week strong, guys. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for being here, sir. But have a fantastic night, guys. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. We'll see you next Wednesday with Forbidden Scales. Tara, hang out with us for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Forbidden Scales. Pharaoh's Forbidden Scales. But yeah.
Yeah.
Night,
they'll be
guys.
Okay.
All right. Peace out, guys. See you next week.